Why, hello everybody. Welcome to 2024. It's April 10th, and I think it's time we get our YouTube season started. So I hope everyone had a wonderful winter. Today is Wednesday, so I am taking off all week, and because I feel like early spring I rushed too much, so I wanted to kind of take my time, because I think this time of year is super important to get everything ready. So with that said, it's about 1 o'clock, and beautiful weather Monday, Tuesday, and up to now. I know we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow and Friday, so I may be limited. I have a lot to do. Days fly by. I'm sure you all know when you take off to get something done, the day just goes super fast. But I wanted to kind of show you what is going on. We got some new additions to the garden, so I'm going to pan you around. There it is. So we definitely upped the game here and got this is a Harbor Freight concrete mixer, and the whole singular purpose of this is not to mix concrete but to mix soil. So I have some perlite, I got my compost, my peat moss, I have all sorts of supplements, some fertilizers, and we still have a pile of that garden soil that we got. So I've been scooping that up, coming over here and doing I'm getting a UPS delivery. That's exciting. And mixing it up. I saw this done by a couple people on YouTube, and it really works. It makes things feel much easier, and so very happy with that. So that's kind of my setup out here. One of the other things that we're going to do is we're going to test out some grow bags. So we have one thing that we've never attempted to grow here. I was going to last year, but time just got away from me, and that is potatoes. So we have a couple different kinds of potatoes, and we have these. Let me show you. These are grow bags. These are 10-gallon potato grow bags, and they have a little Velcro flap so you can easily pull the potatoes out. And then we have some 7-gallon grow bags and some 5-gallon grow bags. So I was thinking, well, we'll get into the garden, but there's a spot over there, and as you know, I don't really have a location for like pumpkins, my squash, zucchinis, gourds, things like that. And the plan was that I was going to build something over there, but that didn't happen. I don't know. I think if something came up that I could build a bed with, because I like to use recycled material, I would have, but nothing did. So I think we're going to try the grow bags for a couple of reasons. One, you can move them around, and two, we started some we'll get into that, but tomatoes and peppers super early, and the idea is I want to try, my goal, okay, is to get tomatoes in June. You heard that right, tomatoes in June. So how we're going to do that is I started them super early in the basement, and then I want to put them in grow bags and put them out. That way, if there's a frost or it just gets super cold, I can just pick them up and put them in the greenhouse, for the night, or inside, depending on how cold it gets. And then I'm going to do my typical planting of tomatoes and peppers right around Mother's Day. So I'm thinking then I could have, like, let's say, beefsteak tomatoes in June, and then a second crop. That's the game plan. Whether it works or not, I do not know. All right, let's get in there. Nothing crazy, no crazy projects in the off season. I wanted to plant fruit trees all around the retention basin, but I just don't have I don't have the time. So that's a whole separate project I can't dedicate to. So maybe later. All right. So the one thing I did this year that I kind of sloppily did in years past was I paid more attention to the early spring garden. So what I did here is, first of all, the soil line was down. So I mixed soil and probably added a good 2 to 3 inches on top of some good fresh mixed soil. That should help. You notice my strawberries survived. I'm very excited. You can even see that's a weed, but see it? Look, it's getting close. See those? These are strawberries. So very excited for that. They started. You can see them down there. Zoom in a little bit. They are creeping outside, which I'm half okay with. I knew that was going to happen. I think the idea is I can maybe take some of those cuttings and start new strawberry plants. Not really sure yet. This is, if you remember, the first year I had them, I didn't have the fence up, I didn't have the 10-foot fence up, and critters just ate them to the point where they didn't survive. So last year I planted them again, and with the fence, and they survived. So this should be we should get a lot more strawberries than we have, which is very exciting because Tyler loves strawberries. All right. The game plan for the archway this year is, if you remember, I did 4 different tomato plants on the corners. The winner by far was the Sun Gold that I planted over here. So what we're going to do this year, we're planting 4 Sun Golds on the corners. So this archway is going to be just, hopefully, crawling with Sun Gold tomatoes, because that's really the only cherry tomato I'm growing this year, because it's just the best. And this one that Tyler is his favorite by far, and mine and Michelle's. So maybe Taylor will get into tomatoes this year. We'll see. The other thing that Tyler has been getting into is carrots. So some of the carrots that we planted for the fall garden overwintered, and it was pretty cool. We pulled them for Easter, for the Easter bunny. So we came down and pulled some carrots and let them out for the Easter bunny, which Easter bunny came in the middle of the night and ate them. So Tyler has been wanting to come down to the garden like every day and pick carrots. We are running out of carrots for him to pick, but we are planting new ones. So this back wall, which really has never found a good home, are going to be carrots. Let me zoom in here. So a couple different kinds, some rainbow carrots from Home Depot, sugar snacks, yellow carrots, and rainbow carrots from M.I. Gardner. So hopefully that's a good start. I don't think that's enough carrots for him, but for now that's good. And then I mixed up a bunch of different peas, lima beans, and beans, and I planted them all along here, and then on the other side of the archway, all the way on the front here. So the idea is before the sun golds take over, it would be nice if I can get some peas and some beans going. The other thing I'm going to do this year, which I haven't done in the past, is before I'd water them in, but then I'd set up the drip system and let that go. I think I'm going to be a little more hands-on this year with hand watering, especially if the kids want to come down here after school on a regular basis. It'll give me time, or them time, they love to water, they like to overwater, but we'll work on that. But I'll give them time to or for me time just to really get hands-on and make sure things are germinating well and sprouting. Okay, so that's that. We have not gotten a pile of wood chips yet. Again, that's kind of like, that's a lot of work. They drop off, and they do drop off. It's a huge truckload, and I don't know, I just feel like I don't want to put too much on my plate. I think I already have enough on my plate. But we'll see. For now, no extra wood chips are going, so that means I'm gonna have to probably weed whack the garden a little bit more this year. But it's a trade-off. And then maybe next year we'll focus on wood chipping the garden. All right. Now as we come into here, the goal here, just so everybody knows, we're going to change a couple things up. I'm still going to run peppers down here. So last year we put peppers in here and they did really well. But I want to include, so I have onions that I planted in the front with the thought of they won't take up too much room. If they get in the way, I can just pull them out. But I think they're going to be okay in the front, and then towards the middle and back, I'm going to plant the peppers. We got the Ace onions, which are the onion. Zoom in again. These signs, last year I didn't video them well enough, and the signs kind of faded on me, and I didn't know, and I tried to go back and look at videos to see what they were, and they didn't do a very good job. So we're going to try to capture what's here a little bit better this year. But these are onion sets from Ace Hardware. When you go in the hardware store, they have that brown bag of onion sets. You know what I'm talking about. So those are planted here. Pompeii onion. These are onions that I started in the basement. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'm thinking probably not. I probably won't do it again. I started them super early in the basement, and it was just keeping them alive. Where I think just direct sowing onions will probably be the way I go, but we'll see. Leeks, again, some of the ones that were in the basement I put out here. Guardsman onions, these are bunching onions, which and the Tokyo long bunching onions. I gave them little spots here because the other thing I want to focus on is what do I want up by the house, and onions, because these are the ones that you cut the greens off and then they grow back. When you're cooking, you need them, and I don't always have time to. It's not worth running down to the garden to get them, but it is if they are out right outside the house. So we're going to grow a little bit here and then more up by the house. And then extra room, so I have this big bag of Ace onions, so the remainder are more onion sets. Okay, this spot was completely overgrown with these weeds. So I took the time, and again, that's what I did earlier this week that I think was super important, was really took the time to these viney weeds, which I'm sure will come back. It's these things. I call them weed because they kind of look like pot leaves. But I don't know if you have these at your house or where you are, but they are horrible. There's also a strawberry plant down there, so that's interesting. So hopefully eradication worked out well. But if you remember, I really have never done anything in here. Well, I did. Let me zoom out a little bit. The first year, I put beets in here, and radishes and stuff. The critters ate it all. Last year, I think I was planning on maybe putting potatoes in here, just never got around to it, and nothing ever happened. But remember, I put a whole row of that bean, pea, lima bean mixture in the back there, so it can crawl up the gate. But other than that, radishes and beets. So I'll zoom in and see. Okay, we have the German giant radish. I did one line for each. We'll see how that works. Cherry bell radish, the sparkler white tip radish, and the China rose. And over here we got some beets. The Cylindra beets, the early wonder beets, golden beets, and the ruby queen beets. Radishes, we had some success last year. Beets never had success yet, so hoping that this is the year. Okay, now on this back wall, let me zoom out. Okay, last year we had our paste tomatoes, and they did really well. We're going to move the tomatoes. We're, again, like I said, we're moving things around. So this year it's going to be cucumbers. This is going to be Cucumber Alley. 2 years ago we had a lot of cucumbers. Last year, very disappointing. So we're going to start cucumbers pretty much there and run all the way down. This cattle panel fence, which I had behind this old wooden fence, I'm going to move because there's just too much distance, and I want the cucumbers to go right up the cattle panel. So I will be moving that on this side of the fence and pretty much right above where I'm planting the cucumbers. So that's a later project. I'm not planting cucumbers yet, so that's like second wave. So this is first wave, and we'll talk about the second wave of planting throughout this video. All right, but I figured, you know what, that's just a lot of space just for cucumbers. Let's get greedy. So I didn't have enough room for my beets and radishes. They kind of carried over to here. So bull's blood beets and Japanese wasabi radish. I've been trying to grow this radish for the past 3 years. I've never had success, but hopefully this is the year. All right, kohlrabi. I did have success growing one last year. It's pretty good. So, I mean, I'm not giving it a lot of space, but I could probably put, I don't know, a couple plants there. Broccoli rabe, another one that I have not had a huge success with. So I'm not going to give it a lot of space either, but my team at work decided, Michael, thank you, Michael, that they wanted to sponsor a plant, and they chose broccoli. So I will give it a go, just for them. And, where am I? Sorry. All right. Bok choy. I like bok choy, so we'll see what happens. The first year I grew it, it grew pretty well. I think pretty much in the exact spot. And then animals took over. Last year, I don't know if I even tried. I think I tried by the house and it did not go well. And Swiss chard, the rhubarb Swiss chard. Again, a little spot. Just to try it out. We did have some Swiss chard that overwintered from the fall garden that I'll show you in a minute. But that's it for here. I think it's a good productive space. And yeah, that will be very cool. All right. Some of this stuff I haven't even touched yet, but we'll still take you through, and I'll kind of go over the game plan. So down here in the front, this is going to be peppers. So traditionally I've done 5, like a die, like a number 5 on a dice pattern in these for peppers, and that gives them ample space and ample room. Part of me wants to try to push it a little bit, and I might try to push it, like I test out one of these boxes and put, instead of 5, put like 9 plants. So 3, 3, and 3, and see if they work out okay. So that'd be cool, but I don't want to push it, so I'm going to do the 5 on the rest. But there's going to be, I'm not doing any habaneros this year, so I'm scared that the kids will try to eat one, and we don't want that. So we are going to grow some hot peppers, just not habanero hot. We are also going to focus on sweet peppers this year, because in the middle of the garden season, Michelle has to go out and buy bell peppers because I don't have any in the garden. That kills me. So we're going to focus on sweet peppers in the garden this year. Okay. So over here, this is the remnants of the fall garden. So carrots, these are all carrots that overwintered. That's Tyler's Supply. This is this kale that overwintered? I'm not really sure. I think so. Flowers smell good. I'm just leaving that to go for the bees. They like flowers. But this will all be torn out shortly before peppers go in the ground in the middle of May. Over here, same kind of thing. You can see the Swiss chard. This is a Swiss chard that overwintered. So that has about a month to grow and do its thing before I rip it out. So that'd be kind of cool. Other than that, just random stuff. There's some onions here. I don't know how they got there. Some lettuce, I guess, and some more carrots. I am positive the carrots will all be gone before the peppers go in. And then over here, again, it's kind of empty. What you aren't seeing is my garlic. I did not plant any garlic this fall. Traditionally, I dedicate a set of these, so 2 of these, to garlic. Past couple years, but I have an idea. So we're going to try something different this year. And then that frees up this area for more peppers, and I think the garlic can coexist. Over here, this is kind of like last year was like a little mixed mosh. I got different couple things in here. The sage overwintered, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it in here or not. I might pull it out. We don't use a lot of sage, but maybe we should. And this is fennel. This is bronze fennel. It doesn't produce like a head that you eat, but this, it is awesome. It smells, it's very fragrant and bushy. I mean, look how big it is, and it overwintered. It's just gonna get huge. It got huge last year, but it's really, really good stuff if you like fennel. So I believe I'm gonna keep that there. I'll probably put peppers up here, a few plants. I don't know yet. Because I also have okra. I want to try okra this year. So maybe I'll do, instead of that, I'll put like an okra in the middle. I don't know. Horseradish. So this is my horseradish plant. Look how that root's getting pretty big. I have not harvested horseradish yet. I just slacked off last year and just didn't do it. This is the year. So hopefully, it's definitely coming back up. I had 3 plants in here. You can tell, one here, and I have one over here which is no more. Is that horseradish? That might be horseradish, I don't know. But I'm gonna leave this go. It will remain horseradish, and hopefully this year we do something with it. Okay, you excited? Asparagus is next. Look what's coming up. So this is one of the more exciting things for the garden this year. This is year 3 of asparagus, and if you know, when you plant the asparagus, it's from bare root. The first 2 years you just want it to fern out and seed, and you're really not supposed to pick any. So last year, which was year 2, I did pick a couple and they were awesome. I couldn't help myself. But year 3 is when you're all good. It's go time. So check it out. See them all? Let's see. Let's zoom in a little bit. Some there. Some more. So they just started popping up. And I will be picking them soon. Over here we got some more. This is the purple asparagus. Let's see. See it? Yeah, so that just started coming up as well. So hopefully we'll get a lot more of that. And this is a, oh, I see maybe one, but so it's still, I mean, early. I don't know when asparagus is supposed to come up, but you know, now's about the time it starts. All right, over here. Okay, so let's talk strategy. This area is going to be my paste tomatoes. So it's about, I guess, the same space, maybe a little bit more space over here than last year. But the paste tomatoes did super well. And I am very excited for them. So I wanted to give them a little bit more room. I will be building, I'm probably going to take this, well, the cattle panel isn't, I don't think, ideal for tomatoes. I'm going to redo, I got a bunch of 3/4 inch conduit, the stuff that I use for the perimeter of the fence, and I'm going to build a new tomato trellis. That's going to be, well, 10 foot high, and then I'm going to have the string drop down. I have an idea to label them, so that's going to be exciting, but that's phase 2. So we talked about, again, phase 1 I'm currently in, phase 2 is later. So phase 2 is the tomato trellis, new signage, and that will happen when, probably about the time I put tomatoes in. But I didn't want this just to be tomatoes. I wanted to see if I can get a dual use out of it. So I planted some of that bean, pea, lima bean mix in the back here. So the cattle panel is, I was gonna take it down, but I didn't really have a spot for it. So I figured I'll just leave it here and then use the cattle panel for the peas and the beans. And when I plant the tomatoes, I'm gonna have that 10-foot conduit system that won't use the cattle panel. So possibly they can coexist. Possibly. All right, so that's going to be all the way down. Here are some carrots from last year. Again, Tyler's been picking them. And some Swiss chard that survived. I'll leave it go for now. And then I have no idea what these are. Leeks, onions, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know how they got there. I don't know if I planted them. But for now, they can survive until tomatoes in a month, and that's when I'll finish this. So as you can see, I put a fresh layer of that soil I mixed on the back third, and then closer in phase 2, I'll finish filling these up. All right. Over here in this area, this is going to be the grow bag area. So what I have to figure out is, if I do grow bags of climbers, which I plan on doing, I'm going to need a place for them to climb. So that's where, well, I just don't know yet. I could take the cattle panel from, I guess, here. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, so we will see. But or do I put? No, I don't know. Something to think about. Set up here. Okay, so this is going to remain beefsteak alley for tomatoes. I enjoyed doing that last year, and we're going to continue that again this year. So pretty much beefsteak tomatoes, paste tomatoes, and then cherry tomatoes by the archway. This is the current string system. It's just not great. It's not very high. So that's going to get replaced with a new 10-foot system, which will give my tomatoes plenty of room to grow. Okay. But I really haven't done anything in here, so this is kind of barren. You can see how there's some room for fresh soil, so I'll mix fresh soil, bring it up here. Some onions that kind of made it. Other than that, this is pretty much barren. So what else? Oh, tomato, or the Michelle's vines, grapevines. They are getting wild and unruly. She's got to come in and trim them up. So, got a dead branch in here. Okay, let's take that out. All right, let's go check out the greenhouse. No, if you're wondering about the critters invasion, no critters have breached the perimeter yet, which is awesome. The fence is holding up. All right. Come on in. Got these wasps. They're chilling over here. I think they might be making a nest. See them? Where you at, buddy? I don't know, he's hiding. He's camera shy. I'll have to keep an eye on that though. All right. So like I said, I started tomatoes at different times, and some of these are super early, but that's the idea. Is I wanted to see how early I can make it. So these are the earliest that I'll be putting in the fabrics pots, and then there's another run that I did a couple weeks later. These will probably be the ones that go in the ground. I do have a security set in the basement still, just in case, but I think that might be overkill. Peppers were getting huge, so what I did was I topped them. And so I cut the tops off, and hopefully I slowed them down a little bit, and then they'll branch out. Alright, where's that wasp? There's a few of them. We definitely have a wasp issue, so I don't know if they're making a nest or what, but that's something I gotta deal with. Can't have that. Alright, so more tomatoes and more peppers. So we have a lot. We have quite a few peppers and onions, which is okay because we have the in-ground, and then we have the fabric pots is really the wild card, because I mean, as long as I have they're cheap. I can make soil, so we can put as many as we want out. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm hopefully gonna do that this week. I know it's Wednesday already, but even if it rains tomorrow, I might set up shop in here and put some of these, especially these guys, in fabric pots and start that process. These, if you're wondering what these are, I wanted a easier way to water, bottom water trays, and I just had a hard time finding something that would work that was cheap. These are designed for like beverages, like beverage stations for parties, and you can fit 2 trays in here. Because once you get into this size, you have to take each single one out because they're in this like other tray, and the water doesn't really reach very well. So these I can just take out, keep all the single cells in, put them right in here, and bottom water them. So greenhouse is in full effect. It is 84 degrees in here, and outside it's probably like, I don't know, 70. All right. What else? So the game plan rest of the week is I want to get up to the house. That's gonna be next, because I want to gotta revitalize the soil in the veggie pod. I'm gonna plant lettuce. Probably a little late for that, but not too late, hopefully. So I'm gonna plant lettuce and spinach and kale up there, the veggie pod, and then start revitalizing the baskets around the deck, and get my herbs and bunching onions planted. So a lot to do, but I feel good about what I've done so far. It's been a lot of work just getting to this point, but that's okay. We got the setup now, and water these. I still have to test out the watering system, make sure that's good, and eventually add to it over here, but that's not yet. That's later. All right, well, that's one take fashion. So again, I hope everybody's doing well. If there is anything that you would like to know more about or have any questions, just put them in the comments. Good to see everybody, and hope you're all well. and I'll talk to you soon.